What up, UFC T-Dot Breakdowns. We're here for UFC Fight Night 290, Gane versus Tuivasa. Yeah, you know what's crazy is like, when I watch these, they have these like promos, you know, Usman has a promo, Conor McGregor has a promo, Nate Diaz has a promo, Nick Diaz has a promo. But then also they'll have like tough contestants have a promo, and like, I don't watch tough. Like, I don't like reality TV, so it's not for me, right? They'll have like a fighter who is like the tough winner, a tough finalist, and they'll have their own 30-minute promo, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Who's this lady? I just always think it's funny. It's just weird when you like, it's like a 30, like there's a Kamaru Usman 30-minute promo, and then there's a Leon Edwards 30-minute promo, and then there's like some fighter I watched lose on the prelims one time gets a 30-minute promo. It seems like there's a lot of money and resources for a fighter that may amount to nothing. Just go look up the WWF and the Shock Master. Like, his debut was shocking to the world. Alright, first up we had Charles Jourdain against Nathaniel Wood. It was a good fight. Nathaniel Wood looked really good. He's looked really good his last couple fights, as a matter of fact. Jourdain never really was out of it though. Like, he's gritty, and he stayed in there, and he was fighting, you know, for the French people who he has some kindred to. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think he fights out of France. Or I think he fights out of France, but he's not French, or he's French, but he doesn't fight out of France, something like that. The Bisping kept mentioning that he believed the French crowd was smoking cigarettes in the arena. Woods kept getting these like trips, these standing trips from the clinch. Woods won by unanimous decision. It's not a whole lot to talk about in that fight. Woods was pretty much better. It was a good fight. It's funny because Bisping is such a homer and he loves British fighters, but like and it's not that he dislikes Leon Edwards, because he keeps giving Leon all his props, and I think he likes Leon, but he feels very slighted because they keep saying Leon's the first British born British trained champion. So Bisping hates that shit. Like, it drives him crazy. Come on, Bisping, man, that shit's just for the story, bro. Everybody knows you're the first British champ. Yeah, they are pumping these weird red rock UFC shoes. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Rock shoes, UFC. Rock shoes for no shoes, UFC. Your athletes don't wear shoes, and it's like the official shoe of the shoeless UFC. Ooh. I get it. Those Crypto.com shirts really did a lot. But like, no one wears. Why didn't you do like kits, like rock kits that the fighters wear during their fights so you can see it? I don't know. What do I know? What do I know? All right, next up we have William Gomez versus Jarno Aarons. This is both of their debut fights. They're both like crazy strikers. Early on, it was like a chess match. I think Aarons was a brown belt in judo, sorry. Definitely went for some hip tosses. Gomez reversed it and took him down. Actually, one of those hip tosses, Aarons landed big left that hurt Gomez. And then he went for the takedown and basically threw his face into Aarons' knee. Gomez was being the better MMA fighter. He was mixing in some takedown attempts, trying to wrestle, trying to grapple, in addition to striking, whereas Aarons seemed to just want to strike. At some point, Gomez low-blowed Aaron, but there was no real stoppage. But then Aaron low-blowed Gomez, and there was no stoppage. And Jason Herzog, the ref, literally just went, "You good? You guys are even now." Like, I'm cool with it because they're even, but also like, nigga, that's not how you're supposed to be reffing. In round 3, basically the two strikers were having a grappling match. At some point, Aaron's was deep in a triangle, but Gomez was able to get free. As always, Gomez super accurate on the technical analysis and breakdown. Literally, just this is what Aarons needs to do to keep this. Like, Aarons probably could have got the submission if he had done what Bisping was telling him to do, which was hook the left leg and pull him back down to the ground. But I mean, they're both strikers. Aarons didn't know he was hand fighting for some reason, even though he had him in the triangle. But yeah, Gomez won by majority decision. For some reason, John Gooden felt a need to mention to Paul Felder that his toes haven't been in all week, which I don't know, it was weird. After Gomez's fight, when they asked him about how tight the triangle was, he said it was tight, but like he was willing to die in there. Nothing was gonna stop him from winning in front of his home crowd. And Bisping was just like, well, we're glad no one died. All right, next up we had Alessio Di Circo versus Roman Kopylov. This dude Roman Kopylov is like, he reminds me of Fedor a lot. Not necessarily he's as good as, or he's gonna be as great as Fedor. He just reminds me of Fedor, like the way, number one, when he's not engaging, he's like, and then just out of nowhere, he's just like, but then he's right back to, and just his expression never changes. Like before the fight, during the fight, getting beat up, winning the fight, after the fight was over, post-fight speech, taking pictures with his friends, or his corner. Like his expression never changed. And it was crazy, is like, so they're in this fight, Alessio Di Circo, this dude he's mean, and he's strong, but it doesn't really matter, because when Kopylov actually engages, it's fucking scary. There's one point, like in round one, where he just threw like 15-1-2, just, and like they all landed, like stunned Circo. He just like didn't throw another punch until like the next round. It's like, if you could do that the whole time, why aren't you doing that the whole time, Kopylov? Just do that. Everything Kopylov do look like a special move, like, and he doesn't throw anything. So his whole fight style is just like, do, special move. Like everything he threw was so impactful, so fast, so crisp, so clean, so technically sound. Barely threw anything. He reminded me of the Korean, the female fighter, the one, she's like a zombie. Like she eats punches, and then like round 3 she gets warmed up and starts landing combos. He reminded me of that to an extent, but he definitely got warmed up early to round 3, but he just wasn't throwing so fast. I mean, just the stoicism and the way he went from 0 to your head is falling off your body. It was very Fedor-esque, reminiscent of Fedor, just in the mannerisms, not necessarily his skill or ability. I'm not saying he's as good as Fedor. Kopylov was landing some big liver kicks. You could see the marking on Di Circo. Am I saying his name wrong? I don't think I am. All right, Di Circo landed a jumping knee at the end of like round 2, I want to say, and he really like Kopylov got him down at the end of round 2. Like he really like was able to kind of get some points back, or get some respect back, if nothing else. I don't know if he actually got points, but like, and then what's crazy is Kopylov went back to that crazy 1-2 again and just fucking finished the fight. And the combo he threw to finish the fight was like 1-2, 1-4, 1-2, 1-4. But he just threw it all just until he was knocked out. It was like, why didn't you just do? And then when he was getting interviewed, he looked so uncomfortable on the mic. He looked like he hated being there. He looked like he did not want to talk on the microphone, just like Fedor. I'm just saying, he reminds me, this guy, I hope he becomes as good as Fedor, but he just reminds me of Fedor in kind of the way that he fought and the way he looked. And I'm not even saying that he felt nervous or anything on the mic. I'm just saying that's how he appeared. And then he just, then I have a question. Anyone in front of me, I'm Russian. We are Russian. We're not afraid. I don't even know what he was saying. I just assume because of his tone and demeanor. Anyways, Kopylov won by round 3 from a fucking 6-hit combo. Next up, we had Nasruddin Imavov versus Joaquin Buckley. This fight was really chippy. Nasruddin Imavov, I can't figure this guy out. He's Dagestani, but he's from France. He looks like the average California white dude to me. Apparently they had some kind of back and forth on the internet. Buckley was trolling Nasruddin. Nasruddin is pissed. Like he was mad. Like he was really upset the whole fight. He was being very disrespectful and unprofessional. He was so angry. But he did do pretty well in the actual fighting part of the fight, but just the way he was behaving was just like, what is wrong with this guy? It was weird, some of the stuff he was doing. Anyways, Buckley came out to Niggas in Paris. He was the only black American on the card, so it fit. He soaked up all the booze. He was ready to be the bad guy. And Buckley, to be a big, buff, heavy dude, to be way larger than his weight class come fight day, really just I mean, until the fight was over, was throwing bombs, like never slowed down. He was the one keeping the pace, especially at the end of the fight, which you would expect him to burn out, being that he's all muscle like that. I mean, like even before the fight started, Buckley walked to the center of the ring, clapping, and Imanov walks up and they talking shit to each other. And Imanov kind of gives him a punch in the chest, like a not a real punch, like a push punch, like get away from me this is before the fight starts. And I think like it was also a little tester to see how strong Buckley was. And to be honest with you, I don't think Buckley really moved. Like he just was like, and Buckley was like, yeah. Yeah, like I said, Imanov was pissed, man. Like, I think Buckley might have landed one punch in the first 2 rounds, but the third round, Buckley really like turned it around. He came out trying to finish it, and Imanov just didn't have an answer by that third round. Like I said, Imanov was being super unprofessional, like just doing weird shit, like fucking falling around, not releasing stuff after the ref told him to release it, like if the round's over, like he's not releasing the hold he's got him in, and then he's standing on top of him, like I don't know, man. He was doing weird shit the whole fucking fight. And then after the fight, though, he showed respect. He said Buckley was tough. He was a warrior. Really, it felt like Imanov just survived round 3. But he did so well in round 1 and 2 that he ended up getting the unanimous decision. But Buckley really is one of those ones where I don't know if that loss really hurts Buckley, because literally at the end of round 3, he was the one pushing the pace, and he never stopped throwing big punches, and he was throwing with power at the end, and had really lost the first 2 rounds basically. So co-main event, which is Robert Whittaker versus Martin Vettori. This is literally the number 2 and 3 guys in that weight division. I mean, they've basically beaten neither one. Like if you go back like the last 10 years, the only person to beat either one of them is Izzy, and he's beaten them both twice. This is literally the number 2 prize. Like, who's the second best fighter at middleweight? Is it middleweight? I think it's middleweight. Yeah, it's crazy because both of these guys fight wrong. You know what I mean by that when I say fight wrong? Like, I don't mean like there's something wrong with them or they shouldn't fight the way they fight. I just mean like I played basketball when I was younger. Like, I played basketball every single day of my life for years. So, like, sometimes I could just see a motherfucker moving, and I'm like, that motherfucker hoop. You can just tell by the way they move if they hoop, right? When you see, if you throw a basketball to somebody, the way they catch that ball will tell you if they play basketball or not. Like, it's just something about it, right? A football player who doesn't play basketball and isn't into basketball comes to play basketball, like, you know immediately, because everything they do hurts you, and everything you do hurts them, because they're not moving right. And you're moving in a basketball way. But when you play with somebody who's a really skilled and traditional basketball player, what happens is you kind of dance together. Even if they're better than you, you dance together because you move the same way. And like, this is what I mean by they both, like, they don't fight right. Like, neither one of them moves right. Vettori, he's a unique dude, and he moves the way he moves, and he moves only. And Robert Whittaker is even more unique, and he moves the way he moves only. Like, there were so many weird altercations in this fight where they both feinted and ducked and just bumped into each other. Like, nobody even threw a punch. Like, they just and then there were so many moments where they both threw so many punches and no one landed any punches. Like, just but they both were just on top of each other throwing punches because they're so weird and awkward. And I mean, really, what made this fight was that in those weird exchanges where nobody landed, Whittaker started timing and landing, right? But don't misunderstand me. He wasn't timing it like, jab right. No, he was timing it like he would run in, feint, bump bodies, and then just like shoot an arm out as he was walking away. That would land. Or he would do the exact same thing, but he would shoot an arm out, then somehow come with a head kick. Like, his head kicks come out of his head kicks don't make no sense. His head kicks are like his hips don't have bones, and it's just like a full 360 swivel. Like his head, like he'll throw a weird punch where he's not even facing you, and then his body will just throw a head kick from the other direction, separate from his upper body, which just threw this punch, and then his head kick could come across this way. Like, it's so awkward. They're both so awkward. And I mean, it's just, their fight just looks like 2 puzzle pieces from 2 separate puzzles trying to be shoved into a third wrong puzzle. But you understand what I mean? But I don't mean like that. I don't mean it disrespectfully. I mean that in the most respectful way possible. Like, Dominic Cruz don't fight right. That's why he's so great, right? Like, Uriah Faber fights right. You get what I'm saying there? Like Cheeto Vera fights right. Sugar Sean fights right. Like if you get in there, if you go spar with Whitaker or Martin Vettori, like you're in for an experience like no other sparring match because they're weirdos. They're not, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just trying to make that clear. Like I'm just trying to explain thoroughly how like their styles are unique and different, not necessarily that they're bad. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, none of it looked right. All of it was right, and all of it was landing, but none of it looked right. And Whitaker really turned it on in round two. For some reason, after the fight was over, Whitaker won by unanimous decision. He really started to pick Vettori apart towards the end there. For some reason, after the fight was over, Bisping let Vettori grab the mic and yell before Whitaker got to talk. And it wasn't like an interview. Like he just grabbed the mic, yelled some shit in Italian, and then walked out of the ring. And he was mad, whatever. He probably, I won that fight. That guy thinks he wins no matter what. He's like, I won. I never hit him once, and he punched me 1,000 times. I won. Whitaker by unanimous decision. He goes, I'm the most dangerous man in the division, including the champ. Them two losses would say different, but okay. What's crazy is during the fight, they were bumping that new JID. Like the whole fight, in between rounds, in between fights, they was bumping that new JID album. If you're into hip hop, go check it out. That new JID is fired. French crowd was crazy loud, like deafening at points, especially during the French fighters' points. But like when Bruce Buffer came out and said, it's time, before Tai Tuivasa and Cheryl Gane, the crowd was like bananas loud, like hurting my ears and my headphones loud. So for the main event, we had Cheryl Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. The crowd was like singing the French national anthem. That shit was deafening. It was so loud. Like they really went wild, especially during the main event. Gane was picking Tuivasa apart from the very beginning with these like stabbing jabs, stabbing front body kicks. It's like kind of like jumping in jab he was landing. And then like Tuivasa, when he would hit Gane, like he would eat so many punches to get one in. Like he would get like jabbed, right cross, land the punch, left counter. Like he just was eating so many punches to get one punch in. I mean, Gane was dancing, man. He was dancing. Like he was dancing out of the way of leg kicks. There was times where he would dodge the leg kick, like where he would just go and just stand straight up to just dodge the leg kick. Like he just was, his movement, his foot speed, his hand speed. I mean, he was really like, at one point he checked a body kick. Like he just pulled his leg up and just checked the body kick with his shin. But just think about that. Like he just pulled his leg up like Sagan on Street Fighter and checked the body kick. About halfway through round two, Michael Bisping said, see, two of us are starting to get annoyed and angry. He's getting frustrated, but that could be a good thing. Before he could even finish his sentence, Tuivasa like grazed Gane across the head like this. And I mean, I think he like flash knocked him out, because when Gane fell, he fell like, and I mean, it was a graze. Like I think he would have knocked him out if he had hit him hard. That graze kind of off the top of his head, and Tuivasa jumped on him, and he was swinging, but he never really connected clean. He just was kind of still grazing him, and Gane was able to, get back up, keep fighting. I mean, that moment was probably the moment that was like, the one that was like, yo, if this fight's gonna end from a Tuivasa knockout, this is it. And to be honest, if he had landed a couple more of those ground strikes rather than kind of grazing and missing them, I think it would have been over. But he never really landed flush, and Gane got back up. I mean, Gane looked rock. He looked rock when he got back up. Like he was kind of, ugh. But he just got on his horse and started pumping the jab out, and Tuivasa did end up cracking him again. Gane was looking bad, and Tuivasa was stalking, and Gane was kind of backing away, and he threw like a body kick, like almost like, get off of me body kick. But when he threw that body kick, like you seen it, Tuivasa, just a little, So now Gane is like, okay, now I see an actual path to victory here. So You know, now that Gane is like got him hurt. He felt that pain. He threw a punch. He threw I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. He threw the body kick. Tuivasa got hurt. So then he was like, oh, cool. Body kick again. Body kick again. Body kick again. Punch to the body. So like, first of all, Cyril Gane, I don't know when or how, but this dude is mean now. Mean. So, don't get me wrong. He's just throwing like, you know, Tuivasa cracks him with a big left hand. And then, and don't get me wrong, Tuivasa is swinging the whole time. And he's hurt. Like you can see it. Like, but he's still just like, never. I'll never give up. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. But like Tuivasa still coming back, and then you just like stabbing left front body kick, stabbing left front body kick, rip to the body, right hand. Tuivasa still swinging back. You could see it, like you could see the pain. Knee to the body, and like one sequence, man, he landed the left body kick, landed another left body kick, then ran into like a jump switching knee to the body, like. Cyril Gane was like really attacking that body once Tuivasa, you know, showed that he was hurt. There was one point we just grabbed him, kneed him in the body, pushed him away. And it was crazy. At the end of round 2, it seemed like Gane could have put him away, but he just wanted to torture him. So he just let him survive in round 3. And I could be wrong about that. Maybe he was afraid of Tuivasa's power, but it just looked like he let him in round 3. And like, sure, this is what I mean. Like, he's mean. Like, he was playing with him. Like, he could have just kept going to the body, but he wasn't. Like, he was like, playing with him, dancing around, jabbing him, jab, and then every once in a while he'd hit him, and every once in a while Tuivasa would get just a little bit of space or a little bit of room or a little bit of edge, and he would just be like, body kick, front body kick to the front stabbing body kick, and Tuivasa would be, oh. And I mean, credit to Tuivasa. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone more hurt to the midsection fight longer and harder than that. Usually that shuts people down, and he didn't even put him down with the body kicks, and he was hurt with the body kicks in round 2, and just precision hit him in the same spot 1,000 times in a row. Like in my notes, if you could see how many times I have written down stabbing front kick to the body, it's like 15 times. Because every time he did it, I wrote it down. And he just, at some point, he just was doing like that. Tai Tuivasa is a fucking warrior, man. So at some point in round 3, Cyril Gane landed a big ass leg kick, like wow, not a stabbing front kick, like a big left kick, like from the southpaw, and then he right hand to the other side, throwing stabbing front body kicks, like throwing them over and over again. Like I don't know how Tuivasa stayed in there. That dude's a fucking warrior for real, man. He landed so many front stabbing body kicks, man. Gane landed a big right hand that put Tuivasa on skates. Like it was a sequence where he had him in a counter and he just caught him over the top, pow! And you seen it as soon as he hit him, Tuivasa was like, he started dancing, and then once he started dancing, Cyril Gane hit him again, and then followed up with the biggest hammer fist I've ever seen to the back of the head, just boom, right on back at Tuivasa's head. Bow! And Mark Goodard and Cyril Gane both stopped him, just looked like, oh, that was the back of the head. And then he hit him a couple more times and TKO. And it's like, listen, I get it. Tuivasa was already on skates. He was already out. He was already hurt to the body. He had been beat up. I mean, the fight was over. But also, Mark Goodard, you're not even going to say, watch the back of the head? He literally just, boom, boom, Donkey Kong punched him to the back of the head. And like literally, I mean, I put a short up of it. Literally, they both are right there going, oh, that was a bad shot to the back of the head, Gane and the ref. Just, all I'm saying is just yell out, watch the back of the head. Just to cover your own back. You know what I'm saying, referee? Just say, watch the back of the head. No one would have heard you. It's a loud crowd. But the point is, you're now covered because you yelled, watch the back of the head, instead of you just watching him land the hardest hammer fist to the back of the head I've ever seen in MMA. Well, at least since they had rules against it. Anyways, that Tuivasa, man, Tuivasa, like, he refused to go down. Like, even as he was being knocked out, his body was like, no! It looked like a mountain crumbling. It didn't look like a man getting knocked out. It looked like a mountain falling apart rock by rock. Like, that's how much he was trying to stay in there and fight. That motherfucker Tai Tuivasa, like, this is another one of those, like, he lost, but I don't know how much stake he lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was this little moment where Tai Tuivasa kind of faked hurt off of a blocked leg, head kick. He kind of and threw it. He did like a little wobbly and threw this big punch. But I mean, Gane was right on top. He slipped it, threw his own big punch, which Ty slipped, and they kind of laughed. There was a lot of sportsmanship. They were kind of joking around in there. But I mean, Cyril Gane was in control 99% of the fight, and the 1% that Tai Tuivasa had were just the few times and it was crazy. I did that little short where I was like, "Don't get hit, Frenchie." He did it. He only got hit once, and it was a graze, and he went down. Yeah, so Cyril Gane wins by KO. It was a good fight. Tuivasa is not a joke. I think if they fight again, I would be 0% shocked to see Tuivasa win. Like, he's good. And Cyril Gane is so much better technically. He's so much better from a strategic and a skill standpoint. But Tuivasa just has the intangibles of, like, you can't really stop me without killing me, and I can stop you by breathing on you. Anyways, I think that's it. I've talked long enough. You've listened to me rant and rave about the UFC enough for one motherfucking week, right? Probably not. I'm gonna put out other shit. Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good shit. It was a success. Now let's go drink some wine in the middle of the day. Don't worry, I've got cheese. Bye.